Hi everyone, my name is Leynard Jerome Theseira, and today I'm going to be introducing you to a little bit about my life. So all this stuff is related to what I do, what I like, and the things that I spend my time on. So let's start over here. This is kind of my latest hobby. What I'm doing is flow arts, and I use these staffs to spin. And I also use these are called poi, and sometimes I combine my interests. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So there's a variety of different kinds of poi that I use, and it looks something like this. So when I spin, something like that, and this one actually lights up. So cool! Alright, when I'm doing my fire spinning, I need to be safe. So I make sure that I always carry a fire extinguisher and a wet blanket. And I take it pretty seriously. As you can see, I'm also an instructor in first aid and a member of the Red Crescent. So although I do have a lot of hobbies, I also take my hobbies quite seriously in terms of safety and making sure that everything is going according to plan. And I try to work towards mastery. So for my diving, I have my own equipment. And I'm a rescue diver level, so I also have that certification. In the event that I'm diving with someone and they need help, I know how to help them, and I can rescue them from the water as well. It also ties into the first aid and CPR stuff that I showed you earlier. So those are some of my interests. So this is flow arts. I'm also doing a little bit of juggling. No laughing, I'm just starting. So it looks something like this. You get the idea. Alright, so that's the juggling. And I started playing badminton when I was very young, and it was kind of something that we used to do over the fence. These days I mostly play with my dad. He plays every Sunday. And ow! Sorry. Yeah, okay, so obviously I need a little practice with that one as well. Another of my hobbies is photography, and I use my trusty little DSLR. Most of the time I don't carry it anymore because it's kind of heavy. So I make do with my phone, and I don't have to bring all the other equipment with me. So as part of the activities that I do, I also travel. So for example, I collect hats, and this is one of the hats that I got from Vegas when I was there a couple of years ago, and this is my most recent hat. This is actually something that my brother gave me for Christmas this year, last year, sorry, 2018. I have a collection of over 100 hats. Unfortunately I don't have space, but I've got a few with me today. Alright, so this suit I got from Australia, and I've used it in places like Egypt. So I've actually been diving kind of all over the world, in Australia, in Egypt, in Malaysia, Thailand, and Egypt is where I got this lovely mug as well. Cheers. It also has another one of my interests, which is coffee. Over here, I have some of my leather. So I buy leather from a variety of different places throughout the world, and I make products like this. So this is inspired by a movie series called Vikings, and it's actually worn by a character called Floki when he's on the boat and he's traveling to Great Britain and invading. This is a glove similar to what he's wearing in that series. So I take a lot of my inspiration from the movies and activities that I do. This is a bracer, and I've made some leather poi as well. So these are actually all my own makes. Another one of my interests is steampunk. So steampunk, typically you find these kinds of things, goggles. And over here, we have another one of my interests, which is clay modeling. If you come a little bit closer, you'll see that it's a little bit dusty now because I haven't done clay modeling in a long time. I stopped doing that a while ago because I have no space for all of these items. So I decided to switch, and that's when I moved to doing leather stuff. So you can find all my leather stuff at Crafty Artificer Instagram, and that's where I also have some of my photography pictures and my calligraphy. So I also do calligraphy, that's one of my other interests. Right here, this one is one of my collection of swords and armor. I've also got some pieces from Spain, where I traveled a few years ago, and I did a tour from Madrid all the way down to Barcelona, and I stopped at a place called Toledo, which is really cool. It's a great city, and they do all the metalwork there. This piece here is actually inspired by another one of my hobbies, which is gaming, and it's inspired by a dragon from a game called Skyrim. What else do we have? Oh, okay, shoes on the table. Well, it's okay, they're brand new. They haven't been used yet. These are my brand new climbing shoes. I do rock climbing. I started about 15 years ago, and I really enjoy doing rock climbing. I don't get as much chance to do it as I used to, but I'm hoping that when I travel, I'm going to be able to use these. I read a lot. This particular book is one of my favorite authors. And if you look in here, you'll actually see it's a signed copy. Unfortunately, Terry Pratchett's not with us anymore, so I do treasure this book and the opportunity that I had to meet him when I was in university many years ago. Well, quite a few years ago. Okay, I think that's it for what I have here today. So these are some of the interests that I have accumulated over the years. My background is that I was born in Malaysia and I grew up here. I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur. This is my parents' house. And my mum is Irish. As you can see from some of the crests here and the shamrocks, that's kind of related to my heritage. These are various locations in Ireland, the counties in Ireland. And you'll see some of the Celtic theme in the background here as well. So that's part of who I am. And I grew up mostly here in Malaysia, and then I studied in the UK. I came back to Malaysia about 12 years ago, and in 2019, I'll be traveling the world. So hope to see you in your country. Bye!